Hey guys, Jay here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this bracer right here. Alright, so I don't know if this thing's actually called a bracer or not. This is what I've been calling it since forever. Final Fantasy calls it a bangle. Zelda calls them a bracelet. I guess take your pick, really. Anyway, without further ado, let's put this camera face down and get on with the build. Craft foam, paper, ruler, pencil, eraser if you don't have a pencil with an eraser on it, X-Acto knife, and scissors, tape measure, any little dealies you're going to put on it, paint, Elmer's either wood glue or regular white glue, super glue, and a paintbrush. But probably a bigger one. I have to find mine, now that I think about it. But that's not till the end anyway, so don't worry about it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do, step one basically, is going to be to measure and see how big you need it to be. So I'm just going to measure around, and I already know that my other things aren't going to be big enough because I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to make this a little thick, so I might need 9.5 inches rather than 9 inches of my other ones. So you guys might have seen my tutorial for the one of these. It's kind of like an easier one, a bracer thing. This one's more of an intermediate one, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because we're going to be putting on some more details. And you can always overlap it and cut off the ends or something, you know, whatever's going to be overlapped, and work it out that way. But anyway, so what I have here is a piece of paper folded in half. So it's folded in half long ways, or whatever. When I was in school, they called this hamburger. I don't know. The other way was called hot dog because it was long and thin. This way is short. You guys get it. Tell me in the comments, did you guys learn it that way too? Or was it just my school? Alright, so I don't have a pencil with an eraser on it. I have art pencils because that's just what I use for my art. So I have to use this pliable eraser, so if that's what you're... So if you're wondering what that is, that's what that is. Anyway, so 9.5 inches. So we're going to have to go pretty much 4 3/4 inches. So 4 3/4 inches is right there. So we're gonna go bam. Gonna go up a little bit high. And just for the sake of this, we're gonna go and do one at the bottom too. Alright, so then we just, you guys know how to do this part, probably. I would hope so. You just kind of, oh, you can't even see that. How about now? Alright, well, here, I did that. It's a little hard to see, and I can't really do anything about that because I do need light down here. And it's really hard for me to see on my camera. Anyway, so make sure however big you want it. You can also do this to see how big you want to make it. So let's make it 2.5 inches. So 2.5 inches, we're gonna go right there. I almost made that 2.5 inches tall. That's funny. Okay, whatever works. So then we just kind of make markings going across here that are 2.5 inches tall. And the line that goes across. That's it for the ruler, honestly. Unless, actually, let's do this anyway. So let's So an easy way to do borders around these, since you have this straight line here, you can actually put this on the straight line. That's why I use a ruler. You can actually put it on the straight line, get it exactly straight. Bam, you have a border. Now I'm gonna have it just go all the way around, so like it'll be like all the way around rather than this way, rather than having ones at the end that stop. So the ones that are on this end that are gonna get overlapped, you don't want them to have ones that are stopping because it's gonna look bad. So we find out how big I made that. So let's go from there. Okay. So on mine, it says 16th. So it has like centimeters or millimeters or whatever the hell those are called. So right where the beginning of the H is, there's a line right above it. And it just happens to be that I made it that big. So that it goes from this line here to that H. So I know exactly how big to make it. So just do it like this. We're going to do the marks again. And now that we've done those, we can do the line. Alright, so that's good enough for that. So, what I'm going to do here is a little bit different than normal, I guess. I wasn't expecting to do this, and then right as I started making this, I decided to do it. So, I'm going to put a heart in the halfway point of it. No idea why, but I'm going to. So, I'm going to put that there. And then I want these little eyeball things, which I'm going to paint over anyway. I want these to go kind of down it a little bit, you know, like this. 2 on each side. And then I'll also put one in the center of the heart. And I'm actually deciding whether I want to put a gem or not. So, I have this thing of gems. So I might use one of those, but I don't know. I was going to use gems for here too, but they're too small or too big. The big ones are bigger than these eyeballs, and the small ones are really tiny. So I like, you know, having these on here. So I might actually make them a little closer together. That way when this overlaps, they're not so far apart. And I might put a gem or a heart in the back so it looks like a button. I did that on my other one. My easier to make one. So we're going to do this. Trace out where the heart's going to go. Trace out where one of these is going to go. And then trace out where the other one's going to go. And it's probably not going to be perfect when you do this. But just remember that the only way to make it perfect is to actually do like extreme measuring. So they're not going to be like 100%, you know, in a straight line that follows, you know, the center. But that's actually extremely difficult. So this actually looks really good. I'm actually pretty good at eyeballing it. So now we're gonna go ahead and move these. Don't really need those right now. And then, so now is where the intricate part comes in. We're going to make a design that goes around it. So, I'm going to just draw something. So, like, maybe a swirl that goes around here. So, let's do... Okay, so I like that. It's not the best looking design ever, but I never said I was good at making designs. So that's going to be our entire design. So now what we're going to do is cut out the main portion of it. So we're just going to keep it nice and tight. You can put tape on like this side and the bottom or something to keep it together, but I'm not going to. Or you can even put it inside too to hold it down, but I'm not going to. Alright, so now we have this, and it actually, you know, it's like that, but when you oops, when you wrap it around, it overlaps like that. So it looks like we will need to make the overlap a little bit smaller or something. We'll figure it out when it comes to the foam, but that's why I left this big old space here, just in case. You never know. And if you really want to, you can make it so that the two sides, or the two ends, I mean, are glued together perfectly, and then you slide it on. But just remember that you're gonna have to have an extremely good glue to hold that together, and it's gonna be kind of difficult. So anyway, now we're going to move on to the foam. Alright, so I hadn't said this in the the intro to this part with the materials, but you will need another regular pen. Pencils don't show up very well on foam, but, you know, my bad. Anyway, so what you're gonna do is put it down and trace it. Bam, just like that. So for right now, we don't need the template. We can just cut this out. So cut it out however you want. I'm gonna use scissors, but a box knife or the X-Acto knife will work just fine. Alright, so now we have this piece cut out, and now we're going to go back to the template. So this is where you're really going to need your knife. And remember to do this either very carefully, with parent supervision or something if you're young, but remember to do this, you know, carefully. So you also want something sturdy to, you know, to cut on, things like that, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Don't cut your nice tables or something. This is a work table, obviously it's got shit all over it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut this shape out, the big S shape. You're gonna cut that out, and actually might be a little difficult with the knife, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Now you're gonna want it folded like this, and you're gonna want to be extremely careful with cutting it out, not just because you don't want to hurt yourself, but you got to cut through both pieces of paper. So be careful not to let it shift around underneath or something, or have this piece like shift like this where you see the other piece under it. That's what you really have to be careful of. Also make sure that it's a brand new sharp blade. So now it should look like that. And then basically the heart's gonna go right there, and then the pieces are all gonna go on there. So there you go. That looks kind of cool. Alright, so now that we have that, you can use these if you really want to, but it's easier to use this one. We're gonna go back to the big sheet of foam. And where's my pen? Well, I lost that pen, so we're using a different one. So, anyway, we're gonna just trace these out and cut them out just like we did with the whole thing. So, to use as little as possible. Ooh, I can even do this over here. No, that's so close, but it's, okay, maybe. Okay, yeah, let's do this right here. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna move it over a little bit. Or something, so that I'm using as little amount of the foam as I have to. Alright, so now we have these two pieces drawn. We're going to cut them out. And if you want to, you might as well just cut these out too. I think I have a better way of doing that. I'm gonna do it That was mostly for show on there. So we're just gonna do it like this. Oh yeah, that worked out fine. Alright, so now we're gonna cut out both of these. Alright, so let's put this all together here, now that these are all cut out. And these are a little bit longer than the thing itself. That is on purpose. They're like, literally like a millimeter or something, like the tiniest little bit, but it's still, you know, something. Alright. So this is the hard part, getting these to be center, but this should help. So as I was cutting these out, I noticed they're very reminiscent of my Link Between Worlds Zelda armor. So that's kind of funny. Took inspiration and didn't even realize it. Yeah, all of them are different. They didn't have two of the same one in the pack, so I have no idea what that's about. Anyway, you know, I could probably do this a little bit easier if I just... Let's remove all this stuff now. We're gonna have to glue it all on anyway. But if I put this on here, we can mark where everything is gonna go. So I'm just kind of marking the far ends, of the swirls there, and then the tips, so that I know where those go. Then I'm going to poke the center here, poke here, poke here, and that leaves poke holes in it. So then if I reset this back up the other direction, everything is going to be very similar matching. So all I have to do is poke here, poke there. And that should be where everything goes. So to start off, we're going to be putting on the little S-shaped things. And they're going to be a little hard to get on. We have to use wood glue because I don't have any other type of glue. Hot glue would work, but this is going to take way longer than hot glue will. So basically you just glue around, set it down, and then do that with all of it. So I'm not going to really show you that part, since I hope gluing things down is first grade for you guys. But I'll be right back with everything glued down, well, except for these, because these take like 3 seconds to dry when it glues down to super glue. But when we get to this next step, then I'll come right back. Alright, so now we're back, everything's dry, all that good stuff. So, I also did forget to tell you guys, you need to use pliers for the little eyeball things, or whatever you're going to use. So this will grip it, so that you can glue it on a lot better. It just makes things a little bit easier. But if you want to grab them, put something down here, and then drop them on, you can do that too. Whatever floats your guys' boat, you guys do whatever you want. And actually, now that I see something, I'm going to switch this eyeball out. This one doesn't have the little paper on the bottom. Won't glue as easily. Don't remove the paper on the bottom of those. Anyway, I also cut out this little strip here, so it'd go like on the end or something. Another thing that I forgot to tell you guys to use, I don't know where mine is, so I'm not going to be able to finish this completely, but you know, it'll be close enough I can hold it together, is Velcro. I don't know what happened to my Velcro. It literally is just gone. So I had this big strip of it, and it's just gone. And I can't seem to locate it, and I don't have the means to get any right now. But if you notice, if you put some on here, it's not going to be up high enough to really grab. So make a little area to put it on that area, and then the back of this area, so that when it closes, it has something to grab onto. So that's just, you know, that happened. So anyway, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to do one of the eyeballs, and then we're going to do them in time-lapse. So like I just showed you, basically, you're just gripping these, putting some glue on them, and setting them down. Bam, just like that. And then we're just going to do it for the rest of them. Alright, so this is all 4 of them on there, and they dry super quick, so if you can tell, they don't even move, so that's awesome. And then this one, I'm going to be gluing down this way so that these like kind of contour where the heart goes, because this way, when it goes over it, it looks really odd. It's better when it contours the shape of the heart. So we're just going to put some glue on this one and then put it down. Alright, so that is basically it. That's everything. So let's just glue this down real quick, just because I'm gonna need to anyway. I realized this side here it was lopsided and kind of annoying. So we're just gonna put a little bit of glue down. Put that down on top of it. Alright. So when you put the Velcro on this one, you're just going to put it obviously close to the edge, but it's going to close. Oh, it's not done drying yet. Might want to let it dry first. I'm just going to let it dry real quick. Alright, so now that it's all dry, it just had to take a moment to dry. I put a lot on there. That was an accident. So let's just flip this over. Ooh, get a piece of hair off of there. I don't know what that's doing on there. Alright, so it goes this way. So this goes pretty much like that. And there you go. That's basically how you make one of these, except with it being able to close. And actually, you might be able to just get away with doing this one, closing it like this. Because of how big this one is, I might be able to close it and just put it over my hand, but I don't want to risk ripping it. Yeah, so that's basically how you do this. The next step is actually just painting it, and I'm gonna actually use this gold to paint it. But honestly, I don't think I really need to show you guys how to paint it. Painting is, again, first grade stuff here. So honestly, this isn't a paint tutorial, so this is just how to build, basically. The finished product, when this camera goes back up to my face, is going to show you the finished product altogether, with it painted and everything like that. But I don't need to do that on here for you guys, because all you do is basically take a paintbrush, take this, and paint it. I mean, that's literally it. Or you could, if you really want to, you can take white school glue with a paintbrush, paint over it with that, So that way it's got like a seal over it, and then spray paint it gold if you really want to. So those are your options really. So that's another reason why I'm not going to paint it on here, because honestly that's not the only option you have is this stuff. So do whatever option you guys want to do to paint it with whatever I just told you, all that kind of stuff. So let's get this camera face up. Alright, so this concludes the tutorial on how to make this bracer. Again, I'm just going to keep calling it a bracer. If you guys want to see the tutorial for the easier version, it's a different one, but it's easier to make. If that's what you guys want to see, I am starting to utilize the cards on YouTube now. I've never done this before, but on the top right, there should be a card that pops up, and if you click that, it'll take you to the other video. So if you guys want to see how to make something else, maybe a little bit easier than this one, go ahead and check that one out. Anyway, stay tuned for more tutorials. There will be a lot more to come. I am doing a whole bunch lately, so there's going to be quite a bit coming out in the next month or two. Anyway, that is it for this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.